You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Mai Rodriguez. The Department of Health reveals more details on the country's first recorded case of the Omicron subvariant XBF. It says the first case detected in the country was a Filipino senior citizen with no known history of travel. The DOH adds the individual presented mild symptoms and is now tagged as recovered. Let's go straight to the source of the story. Infectious diseases expert Rontgene Solante. Good morning, Dr. Solante.
Hi, Mai. Good morning.
So we have now the first case of the Omicron XBF subvariant of COVID-19. What do we know so far about this variant, Doc? And can this lead to more severe cases?
Yes, Mai, XBF is a combination of two sublineages under the Omicron. So these are two combinations of a subvariant BA.5.2.3 and that of CJ.1. And this is the variant that was earlier documented in Australia and was found out to be the one causing somewhat increase in the cases in Australia, but it did not strain their healthcare facility. So the more important characteristic of this XBF, more or less in general, just like the Omicron, they are highly transmissible. They have the advantage of a higher growth rate because once they go into our body, they produce a lot, they multiply a lot in the upper respiratory tract, not in the lungs, and that's why most patients will just manifest with mild symptoms, but very highly transmissible. And so far, there are no indications that it can cause a severe form of COVID, just like what happened with the Delta variant of concern.
So that is one good thing. So far, mild cases po ang itong XBF subvariant. And you said higher transmissibility and higher growth rate. How do you compare this to the Omicron, Doc, in terms of transmissibility?
Well, Mai, we have learned a lot about the Omicron because of the different mutations. We have the BA.1, 0.2, 0.3, and then the 0.4 and 0.5. And I would say, in general, they have more or less the same characteristics. Higher transmissibility. It's just that this new XBF may have indicators of more transmissible than the previous sublineages, but that's what we're going to monitor. But for me, I think it will not significantly cause an increase in the cases in our country, for reasons that at this point, because of the several waves of Omicron for the past month, we have developed this type of hybrid immunity. Our population immunity might be able to protect us from subsequent increase in the cases. But again, it should not be something that we should be complacent. We still need to monitor this XBF, including the XBB.1, 0.5, which our Philippine Genome Center had also reported the past few weeks.
I guess, Doc, one thing that is confusing is this case was detected from a senior citizen with no travel history. So how is this possible?
Well, this means that we already have a community transmission, most likely here in our country, with so much of this Omicron subvariants reported before. So there's always the possibility that an individual, a single individual, may have a recombination of these two sublineages resulting to an XBF. So which means that it can be that this XBF is also in our country without any history of travel. And that's always a possibility, because of an ongoing cases, ongoing transmission. It's the virus behavior to really adapt to our immune system, and particularly in individuals. Like for example, in this particular case, this is an elderly individual, and elderly are the more vulnerable population. So that's why they are more to accommodate this virus over the healthy population. But it's good news that it did not cause a severe type of infection, which is expected with this XBF as we move on with some of the subvariants of Omicron.
Okay, the WHO says this is a variant under monitoring, and this caused a spike in cases in Australia. So very quickly, Doc, what are your tips to the public?
That's the reason why we need to be vigilant with cases, with our symptoms, with COVID-19 at this point in time. It's nothing to be complacent with. We continue to wear our face masks, especially in indoors and in crowded areas. And I would really emphasize again, that we still have vaccines. There are still a lot of population, especially the vulnerable population that has not taken their first booster or even their second booster. So it's important that maintaining that population immunity by getting the booster doses, by protecting ourselves to wearing the face mask, these are essentials at this point in time so that we will not get the infection and will not proceed into a severe form of infection.
Get your shots. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Infectious diseases expert, Dr. Rontgene Solante. Thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Mai Rodriguez. You're watching CNN Philippines.